happening in just a few seconds. Haspe saying go, go. Dolan saying go. The countdown is going on, and we're going to go ahead and get game number 2 of this best of 3 series started. So,
I don't know about you, Hawkeye, but I'm actually kind of excited to see the conclusion of the series.
yeah, it should be definitely interesting. TBT is actually one of my favorite matchups to watch because a lot of Terran is actually very, very intricately played with the kind of
Hmm.
openers you can do, the different units that are available early game, and how you swap the different like buildings and styles and such like that. So, definitely one of my favorite matchups to watch. But we're gonna get into this matchup right now in the blue Terran trunks on the left side of the field or the map. It is our blue Terran player representing Finland in Carnage Esports. It is Haspe.
And his opponent on the opposite side of the map, representing Team Ascension in the pink, we have Dolan, who's going to be our second Terran player. And he is going to be down one game in the series. We'll see if he can tie things up and move into the third game with a little bit more vigor.
Yeah, so what do you think Dolan will have to do in order to get to even up the game score in this series?
I think that there's a lot that Dolan can do at the moment to try to kind of even that up. But I definitely think that from what I've seen of Haspe, as little as it has been, I think he's one of those players that you just want to make sure he's not comfortable. Because when he's comfortable, he does some pretty scary stuff like the push that we saw last game. So if Dolan can find a way to maybe drop, harass, keep his opponent very uncomfortable, and kind of not know what's going to happen next, I think that he'll definitely be looking pretty good.
Yeah, and we actually see that Haspe is going to go with the gas first, so we're going to see if it's going to be some sort of drop play, or if it's early drop play, or if it's going to be a Banshee in this instance. A little early to tell at this point, but that's going to be defer from the barracks opening into gas that our pink Terran player Dolan is going for. So already a little bit of variance in breaking the mirror matchup, as we like to joke around about.
I think that personally seeing a Banshee would actually be pretty good on this map because you have a large amount of distance between your opponent and you, and by flight that's a little bit shorter, and you have this massive cliff area that's just so easy to abuse if you have a Banshee or two, and might be able to get him some good damage done early on in the game.
Yeah, so Dolan does get a scout, and he sees the barracks, and then he sees the factory going down. He can pretty much assume that it's a factory at this point. He didn't see any of the gas at this time, so, but based off the timing of the barracks going down and then seeing the factory right after that, I think he pretty much knows what's going on. And both of these players played mini TVTs, so it's not very hard to really decipher it and figure it out. And Dolan this time is going to be the first player to go ahead and get the second command center.
And actually, that might prove to be kind of a bad decision if this turns out to be Banshee play or drop play or whatever. If it ends up being a really aggressive opening here from Haspe, going for that expansion so really might end up hurting Dolan more than it helps him.
Yeah, so we're going to see a second refinery is going to go down here pretty quickly. So I have a feeling it's going to be for that for that Banshee. So we see the starport going down, and I have a feeling that a tech lab is going to be going down here in just a moment, and we're going to see cloaked Banshees with the amount of gas that income is going to be.
And there goes the tech lab. So yeah, it's definitely going to be cloaked Banshees at this point for Haspe. And Dolan, I don't think he's scouted this, so it might catch him a little bit off guard when it gets in.
Yeah, but he does get a little bit of the Reaper in, and he did see the factory, so it's either going to be drops or it's going to be Banshee. And either way, your reaction would be either to make missile turrets or to get Marines and position them correctly. And so Haspe, I think, is going to come in with a kind of air unit, and that's what Dolan's going to be thinking while he's going. But he does have to worry about this Hellion and Reaper pressure that's at the bottom of his ramp.
They will eventually get that nano expansion. Very, very slowly, because Reapers and Hellions are not exactly the most damaging units as far as structures are concerned. Cloak is coming up here from Haspe, so he does have that Banshee coming out as well. So that's going to be hitting the field pretty shortly here. It looks like Dolan might be going for drop play here, like he did last game.
Yeah, and okay, we're gonna see some units come down. The Hellion actually gets taken out first, but a lot of splash damage goes down, and these Reapers might have the ability to take out some of these Marines here, but they're gonna run away. They pretty much did what they needed to do. This command center is very low in health, and they delayed it. That was the big thing here, is that they delayed it. But a scan does go down for Dolan, and he sees Haspe researching that cloak, so he knows what's coming. That Banshee's out.
Yeah, and that's going to make it a lot harder for Haspe to be able to get some damage done. That being said, he does have a follow-up of Reaper here, kind of like last game, so maybe he's kind of favoring that Reaper early so that he can get the auto turrets and vision out in case there's something like Cloak Banshees coming out from his opponent, which of course we know isn't happening, but vision is always a good thing to have, especially in TVT where Banshees are so prevalent.
Yeah, so Banshee is going to come in, and actually there has not been a repair on this command center. This command center might just go down. Finally, we see the repair is going to start happening, but we do see a scan's going to go down, and those Vikings actually going to be able to chase this Banshee. Actually, no, it just barely gets outside the range, so playing with a little bit of fire, but not going to have much time here. So SCVs are going to get taken out, and this Banshee is going to be looking for some more kills here. Marine number 1 going down, and SCV going down, third one going down. This Banshee's almost paid for itself.
And if it gets the CC, and it looks like it may, if the scan doesn't come up in enough time, looks like it's going to get kind of chased away right about now. But if it got the CC, it would be very much worth its price of admission.
Yeah, it was really close for that, but there was a repair that happened right there, and we're gonna see that on the other side of the map, Dolan's gonna try to get some damage in, but with the tank there and the Banshee coming back, this is gonna get shut down pretty quickly.
Most certainly, and Haspe is actually gonna kind of follow the army. Looked like he may have wanted to kind of do a little bit of pressure, or that could have just been kind of chasing the units away. Either way, both players are around the same worker count right now, so neither one taking the massive advantage as far as the economy is going. But I definitely have to say, from what I've seen, I think Haspe has the army advantage as far as composition is concerned.
Yeah. Haspe definitely in the lead here. We see he's a little bit ahead in supply, and definitely with the army advantage. And it's just a little bit more robust army. On the other side, it's just Hellions, Marines, and a couple of Vikings. And Vikings basically not doing anything except for being able to take out this Raven, which actually would be huge. But there's a couple Vikings with it as well. But Haspe going for a little bit of a push. We're gonna see if Dolan's gonna be able to take care of this.
Yes, we have one sea shank on the way from Dolan, but I don't think he has any other ones up, which is going to make it a little... Oh, yeah, he does have one up.
Yeah, so Viking's going to go down here, which is going to be a key component in this army, actually. But all actually going to survive, but this is going to be game time for Dolan. He has an enemy right outside his base, and they're just going to go ahead and bump forward with his rush. Tank's not sieging up, just trying to get that DPS. A couple of sentry turrets go down, and Haspe looking like he's on top of the army, so we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that these SCVs are gonna come off the line, but losing a ton of SCVs. The Widow Mine went off, and 13 SCVs have gone down. So a decent defense by Dolan, but he's sitting at 42 supply.
Get a lot of damage.
He's at 42 supply.
And he had to pull the SCVs in order to defend against that. So Dolan, he's not really looking all that hot right now. Haspe has his stim, he has his +1 finishing up, and really in a couple of minutes he could just kind of push out again and get as much damage done and maybe even kill his opponent if Dolan isn't ready for it. If you want to ask me, I feel like Dolan kind of doesn't have his head in this game. He doesn't seem to be doing as well as we saw him do earlier on in the night with his series.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the TBT matchup is just not Dolan's favorite either. So it might be an area that he might be struggling on, and Haspe might be a little bit more comfortable with. But Dolan definitely in a terrible position right now, and he has to really work his way to get back. so might have to take a risk or two.
Looks like there might be a massive Doom drop heading out across the map from Haspe. And if that gets in the main base, there really isn't a whole lot back home to defend against it. He could get quite a bit done and snipe quite a bit of tech.
Yeah, this is a huge Doom drop. 4 medevacs uh, with multiple siege tanks in them as well. We see a Marauder and the rest of them being Marines, actually. So this is a decent fight. So Scan's going to go down in the natural, but Dolan just knows that there's more going on, and so he rightly positions his units to here. So this might actually be a good spot, but medevacs are going to go ahead and get boosted and get placed right here, but there's a ton of Marines here that's just going to actually deny all of this. This might be what Dolan needed to get into this game.
And yeah, something to point out with that engagement, I'm not sure exactly why he dropped on the cliff, because he could have easily just came down to the natural expansion, dropped on the tank, and then pressured that natural. I feel like maybe he was feeling forced to get damage done in the main when he easily could have gotten an opportunity in the natural.
Yeah, I don't know. Hasp has to get his army back, though. That was a big majority of his army, so now he has a ton of Marines, but he doesn't have any of the tanks to support, so he's going to have to really be able to pull something out here, because if we look back, we just see a trail of Marines are on their way with the main army and ready to do some pressure. So Haspe really looking to do something here, but we do see the big stim up here, and so it's going to be charging, but with the tank back here, this might be a little too much, but actually Haspe showing that he does have a ton of Marines, has a ton of work, and actually cleans this up pretty well.
No, the stim forward, I think, was really a good idea because it did get him in a good position where his opponent didn't have the Wind Mines Burrow, didn't have the Siege Tanks up to support, and he was able to get a lot of free units off. So definitely a good choice for the stim from Haspe, and that might help him not get too far behind because, as you can see, he's back up in this lead as far as supply is concerned again.
Yeah, so Haspe actually has 71 workers right now. 24 of them are mining, or 22 are mining from his natural base, so definitely over that optimized level. He needs to start transferring them over into the Vespian gases, but this is so far ahead of what Dolan has right now. So Haspe's still in that lead despite taking that late Doom drop, that original push out by Dolan. Definitely a misstep.
Well, not to mention the fact that he has his third base up and operational, while Dolan is not looking like he even wants to take it, which, if he doesn't punish it, Haspe's just going to get more and more of an advantage as this game goes on but from it.
Yeah, so Scan goes down, checking to make sure that there's not an army here, so they're actually... Haspe is actually going to get moved out here, and this is where this might be the final push of the game here, because there's just so much army right now. So 71 supply worth of it. We see a couple of tanks, and actually a Scan's actually going to be going down, so it might be a Doom drop that's going in the main base, but we see it once again. But this time Haspe knows he should respect it.
Yeah, definitely gonna not go in on that, which is definitely the better decision. If he had decided to go in on that, I think a lot of the medevacs would have died very quickly, and Haspe's advantage as far as that drop is concerned would have kind of evaporated very quickly.
Yeah, so we're gonna see that Dolan's just kind of, this is the definition of turtling up and catching up, and that's what he's doing right now. But he really needs to get his third base going right away here. So he definitely has the workers to saturate that, but he needs to get that. He needs to get that settled. He needs to get caught up in economy, because right now it's 71 workers to 53. Which, if we're just gonna play the who loses first game, that's gonna go in Haspe's favor.
Yes, and like Haspe's about 500 minerals per second above him as far as income is concerned. And yeah, part of that is mules, but that starts to add up very quickly when you see, well, I mean, look at the supply marks. That's very big.
Yeah, so big stems coming up, and we see the siege tanks are going to start going up, and actually this might be a decent engagement, but Haspe just showing that he has too many forces here. So these tanks are going to get taken out. That's just going to be GG. Dolan drops out. Haspe moves on to face Crayon in the final series of the night.
Yeah, and he just had a lot of units there. He had the upgrades. I believe he had his 2-2 while his opponent only had his 1-1. And upgrades, I mean, I've said it before, mirror matchups, you got to have every advantage that you can, and upgrades are a good way to be able to do that. But even without that, I think he still would have won the engagement because he just had such a big army comparatively.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna see a ZVT for our final series. It's gonna be Crayon versus Haspe. We're gonna see if Haspe is gonna be able to pull this off, or if Crayon's gonna be able to have his redemption and go to the round of 16. But while we're waiting for this, if you're liking what you're seeing with the RSL, go ahead and hit that follow button that's right below the stream link. Or if you're watching from TL, click in and then you can hit follow. Because we are looking to continue this tournament because obviously, what's it?